hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, no damage, hard run. This is the final part of the final mission, and we're taking on Fortinbras in this incredibly epic looking air battle. However, it is an absolute nightmare to get no damage on, because it's very strange. So you might be wondering, well, it looks amazing, how can it be strange? Well, there's a limit to how you can scroll left and right, and you have absolutely no bearing or awareness on where that limit is. So when you try to avoid the flame move, if you're up against an invisible wall, you can't avoid the flame move. Also, those electrical things, they will kind of ambiently follow you when you don't really have too much control over your character, so you will bump into them randomly, they'll bump into you randomly from off screen. It's a recipe for disaster. But luckily enough, if you watch this video, I'll have a pattern for you to capitalise on almost all of his moves, and you can live safely in the knowledge that if you have a certain amount of accessories, you can have unlimited magic power here and just keep on doing the ultimate critical move to him. Conversely, you can just use a ton of items to bring back MP and just keep on pressing triangle and hitting him. But I didn't want to do that because every single no damage run against this boss on YouTube is people exploiting the ultimate critical, so none of them showed you how to dodge anything, and I wanted to show you how to dodge stuff, because this fight is really tricky when you're trying to do something like this. And I wait for the final move to hit him with the ultimate critical, and then I beat him up. The things I've got equipped here is I've got the blue bell to get magic from him, I've got magic attacks do less MP, take less MP, sorry, so I can do them more often, and I think that's pretty much it. But that's the end of the fight, and then this is the joint worst boss fight in the game. This is the final boss. This could have been amazing and awesome, instead it's utter shit. So the boss floats above you, you have to tap X to dissolve his barrier, and then you have to hit this back to him like he's Ganondorf and we're Link in Ocarina of Time. The only difference here is there are these two elemental eyeballs floating around that will randomly decide to attack you. And the longer this fight goes, the more eyeballs there are. One of them is ice, one of them is fire, one of them is electricity. And they will attack you off screen, they will attack you whenever they decide to, and the boss will attack you at the same time they attack you. So what you do is you knock that back at him, you kill the eyeballs, and then he'll start to submerge. And then you'll discover this boss has an insane amount of life slash defense. You cannot deal quick damage to him at all, so this is going to be a long and protracted fight. And the longer the fight goes, the more moves the boss has, the more opportunities the boss and the eyeballs get to synchronize, and if you get unlucky with capricious AI, you will get hit by something completely unavoidable, because there's too much happening on screen for you to dodge. It is beyond bullshit, and I hate it. So what I'm waiting for now is him to speak, because he's going to do a fancy move. I can hear the fire, so don't touch that. Yeah, he's doing it now, this move. If you bump into the balls or Roberto, you will be slowed long enough to get hit by it, and it will chain you. You can't get out of that move once you're in it. Obviously, if I get hit by it, I have to restart, so... And then imagine that move, where you've got to keep moving to avoid it, and keep moving in a pretty deliberate pattern, while these eyeballs are firing shit at you at the same time, cock-blocking you. It's... I can't even begin to describe how much having the ultimate weapon will make this so much easier to do. Because this is not fun. It's not fun at all. And this is a 12-minute video of this fight, doing exactly what you're watching now, because it just takes so long. It is arguably some of the worst boss design Capcom have ever made. And it could have been a super cool fight against a dude in a suit who was really aggressive, like Rodan, or like, remember Killer is Dead? The final part of that fight on the moon against your brother who was wearing a white suit, and it was super cool and awesome and fun. This is not that. This is like a piece of white dog shit in comparison. And right now, all I'm praying is that these eyeballs don't hit me with something off screen. And when the third one turns up that does electricity, it sends electricity across the ground and it moves in these random zigzag patterns. So it's And then the boss later on gets this ability to cause like a random hailstorm of magic. It it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. This was the only part of this game before I started this project where I had trepidations of whether or not I could physically do it. Because it sucks so bad. So I'm going to talk about some other stuff because I hate this boss. And I'm going to continue on the topic I was talking about in the last video, where I was discussing these, you know, three-dimensional character-driven action competitive games, which we just don't really have. And I don't know why this genre isn't existing and happening and evolving. And there have been a couple of other examples I didn't mention, because if you think about it, Power Stone for the Dreamcast is one of these. Aside from the isometric angle that you had on the fighting, you moved around a 3D environment and you fought people. It was very simple. It was kind of like Smash Brothers, so, you know, not too deep, but still really fun and interesting. And then there's a game called Senko no Ronde Wartech or something, where you play as robots and you fought each other, and that game went even further. It blended Danmaku shooters into the mix, where you had the ability to shoot at each other, and the bullet patterns that you fired, your opponent had to dodge. So it was almost like this back and forth of fire and melee, and it was really interesting, but nobody played it online, and the only people who did were crazy Japanese, Korean players who were so fucking good that it was just brutal. You know, you could get essentially just completely gangbanged and juggled, and I had an epic 20-minute fight against somebody trying my best, and I just couldn't win. And then that was the only guy who I could find, and then when I checked his gamer tag, he had max achievements, which was like, you know, 1,000 wins and play for 1,000 hours, and you know that these people really like it, but unfortunately they're the only ones. Oh, this is that move, by the way, guys. The best way to dodge this is to stand still. As soon as you see a pink shadow beneath you, move. If you stand still, you just don't get hit. The big fear there is if any of the eyeballs attack you. If they attack you while that's happening, sometimes there's nothing you can do. Look, this is the lightning. Watch this. It just kind of moves where it wants to move, and I hold my breath and hope it doesn't hit me. And now he's doing that move. If this had been a second earlier, I might have died then. It's just unnecessary. Here comes more bullshit. Just... this should literally be 3 cycles. His life shouldn't be nowhere near as high. It should be 3 cycles. Or even better, this shouldn't exist, and it should have ended on that big, epic fight in the sky. But no, they decided to do this. So there's the ice attack, here comes the God of Light attack. I'm just praying it doesn't clip me, and it's real close. But if you're watching right now, folks, and you've never played this game before and you've been enjoying it so far, how many people at this moment in time are looking at this and thinking, this just doesn't even look fun? And I'm hoping it's all of you, because it isn't. And I don't understand it, because this environment really reminds me of the last boss on Ninja Gaiden. And that last boss, aside from the checkpoint problems that game has, is really cool. It's a super good fight against a really aggressive, really challenging enemy. And then there's this, which is none of those things. However, the checkpoint is slightly better. And I haven't mentioned as well, folks, there's no checkpoint in this fight. Admittedly, the checkpoint is at the beginning of the fight, which is better than the Ninja Gaiden one, but there's nothing in between. So one mistake, and I have to do all of this again. It's just dumb. It's... And anyone who's played Onimusha 1 knows the final boss on that was cool. Anyone who's played Onimusha 2 knows the final boss on that was cool. I actually can't remember the final boss on 3, but I'm sure it was cool. This is not cool. There's the ice. And here comes the God of Bloody Light attack. Which, the reason I'm running in a circle is because if you try and pivot like at a right angle, it will hit you. All you have to do is look at how close to my heels that attack is at all times to tell you the kind of detection on it. Whoa. Like right now, I can randomly get hit by electricity or ice, and it's all over, and it would be from these eyeballs that aren't even on screen. It's just... it's dog shit. But what should you expect next? That's probably a good idea to speak about. I'm going to be doing an update video that discusses a lot of this. There will be another emulator project happening. I don't know when, no promises. There's going to be another live playthrough happening after the Final Fantasy VIII one ends. I've got 2 more videos that I need to share with you. I just keep forgetting to do so. And I'm not too sure when I'm going to be playing live, because it's a completely different kind of project to these kind of projects. And as far as new games go, there is literally nothing new. Oh, I forgot to mention this. So, did you see how there was those lasers from those green... Watch this! Look at this bullshit! Look at it! Like, I am so glad that I play cave shooters, because that was nowhere near as intense as it would have been if I was not used to bullet hell shooters. And at this moment, you just... like, you're trying not to think how stupid it is. Because if you do, you'd just stop. You'd just quit. But it is doable, guys, it's just not very fun. And it all stems from the fact that the boss just has too much life. Oh, another thing as well, I'm in Oni mode, so that moment just then, I wouldn't have taken damage even if I was stood on the lasers, so I was afforded a luxury. But as you can see, it's just brutal. And yes, if you choose to, you can just use all those items that you've got. At this point, I have over 50 items. From full heals to full magic heals to full drive heals and things like that. But that's not the point, you know. This is a challenge playthrough, and it's designed to challenge me. Using all those things to mitigate that challenge. Oh, do you see that? Do you see? Look at it! Look at it! Oh my goodness! I should have given myself a medal for doing this bullshit, just for putting up with it. And if you look on YouTube for other people doing this, everybody's doing it with the best weapon on the game, and they never get to this phase. They never get to the spot where it's this much craziness happening. Oh, it's so dumb. That's not to say that I'm better than those people or anything, it's just, you can understand why they've avoided letting the fight run this long. But this is it. Thank any deity or imaginary Skyman you want to thank. I don't have to do this ever again. Probably the worst boss fight I've recorded this year. By far. But that is the end of this playthrough, guys. This run, this... whatever you want to call it. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it, minus that atrocity. And thank you for sticking with the channel, you know. A lot of new subscribers, but a lot of people that have been here a while that are still as, you know, excited for the content as they were when they first subscribed. And that's really rare. And I appreciate that some people come here for specific things, and it might kind of suck when I don't upload those things, but it's nice that you're still having the fortitude to put up with the other stuff and then watching the stuff you like. Or you're adapting to the style and you're watching everything, which is, you know, they're my key audience, they're the people that I want. And unfortunately, it might say I've got 17,000 subscribers, but they don't watch. And it's unrealistic to expect them to. So we have this little niche of anywhere between 300 to maybe 3,000 people who are really, you know, staying in contact with the channel. And I'm hoping we can increase that and we can build that. And projects like this, that are a little bit more niche, a little bit more specific, might bring in some people who might not have noticed the channel before. So if you're one of those people and you've enjoyed what you've watched, plenty more will come. And if you're one of those old veterans that's just hanging around because they believe in it, I'm always grateful to have you with me. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and you take care now.